Hey, good morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Friday, August the 1st. Where has the time gone, Bill?
Amazing.
Seems like we just had Christmas, and here we are getting ready to start high school football.
Yeah. And
Practice has started already.
summer's about over.
Crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Practice started the day before yesterday, so used to when we were growing up, August 1st was always the timeline you look forward to. Of course, we were working over summer, cropping a backer or painting or whatever, out in the hot sun anyway, so football practice was kind of like a break for us. We look forward to August 1st to kind of get away from work a little bit.
That's the truth.
And nowadays it's it's year round nowadays. The boys go after it all the time.
That's right. We complain about today's kids, but I tell you what, when I go to work every morning early, Bo's got his kids out there on the field already, and it's been the definition of dog days here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I guess that kids are probably just about as tough now as they were back then, but they're just not as exposed to they're a little bit more protected than we were.
Yeah, a little bit, and they do different things to get that way. They work out more as far as like the actual workout part of the sport and staying in condition and everything. They don't have to do it through getting out in the fields and doing that stuff.
That's exactly right.
But man, tomorrow relief is on the way. Have you seen the forecast?
I have.
Saturday, high 79.
Woo! I am looking forward to that. A bunch of guys from Rock Creek. I'm going with them. We go every year to a golf tournament in Minnesota, and you talk about it's right there on the Neuse River, and you talk about a hot place.
Yeah.
Traditionally, at this time of the year, it's just sweltering hot, and now I understand that there's maybe a cool front coming in.
Yeah, you may catch a break.
Man,
now, do you guys go up through New Bern, Pamlico County, or do you cross over at Cherry Branch to ferry?
Well, you can go either way, but we normally go the New Bern route.
Yeah. Whenever I'm down that way, I would always take the ferry just because I ain't got to drive for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It take me a little nap or something.
Yeah, we never take that ferry.
Well, we want to get started. We do want to thank our sponsors before we get started. You're familiar with all these people, the local people in Onslow County that make things happen, that support schools, support us, support the athletes. Of course, starting off with National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Jacksonville Ospreys, they just finished up their season. We'll have that in our Osprey report. Thank you for sponsoring us during the summer months when they're live and in effect. CNS Paint, Ron Choate and Victor Case. Of course, Golden Corral and Billy Sewell. Rock Creek Golf and Country Club, your old buddy Rick Morton. They're in good shape over there right now, aren't they?
It's in fantastic shape. It
I
really
heard the
is.
greens are dynamite.
Rick has been he's been leading the charge out there, and they got new greens. We've got new greens, and they're in the best condition that I've seen them since I was a young boy.
Wow. And they've had some good ones over the years, and then they kind of, change up every now and then. But we do want to talk about Rick a little bit when we get to a segment later, talk about, some wishes we have for Rick, some things we hope for him for. Of course, Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Jones LP Gas, located in Verona. Of course, Fridays, you can get your propane cylinder filled for $11, the 20-pound, propane cylinder. Southern Touch Painting, Roger Carroll, thank you for all he does. Had one of his trucks out. I've seen it at some of the high schools, helping do things like pressure washing bleachers and stuff. He just sends his guys out there just to do it. And that's just a great thing he does for Southwest and for the other schools too. Fountain Management, of course, Sandra Fountain. Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley and his gang. Barnes Diamond Gallery, that's Miss Lindsay Jarman. Lane Associates Family Dentistry, Doctors Tommy and Kim Morgan. Bartley Insurance Services, there's a fellow over there named Bill Mercer that is the go-to guy when it comes to insurance, buddy.
Bill and Drew.
Bill can get you the right insurance plan.
And Betsy and Nancy. Betsy's my wife.
Tell us the whole crew over there.
Well, it's Drew Mercer, Betsy Mercer, Nancy Peterson, and myself. And Betsy retired from teaching at Pink Hill Elementary School for 25 years, and we had a little transition in the office, and she came in and has done a great job filling that role as office manager, and we're just a nice little old family over there.
Enjoying her retirement and doing that on the side.
Well, she's doing this full time.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Not having to teach school.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right.
And then, of course, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. Them air conditioners, they're struggling this week, but hopefully they'll get a break tomorrow. Hopefully everybody can set the thermostat down a little bit tomorrow and let them take a little break, at least in the morning time. Talk like the low's going to be down in the mid to upper 60s.
Wow.
I'll take that.
What a relief.
And then we have our segment sponsors, of course. Our racing report is powered by Onslow County Motor Company. Once again, Ben Beasley and his crew. The Jacksonville Osprey report is powered by Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning, Jason Humphrey and his family. And, of course, want to keep Jason Humphrey in our prayers. His mother passed away last week, and then they had the funeral and everything this past week. And went by the visitation and saw him. They're doing pretty good, but you know how it is. You always hate losing a loved one like that.
Yeah.
His mother meant a lot to him, and we want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Jason's a great guy.
He is. He's a good dude. All those, like I said, all those businesses we mentioned, they're all people and businesses that help, do a lot of things in this community, and we appreciate them.
Yep.
Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grist, that box of goodness over there that we're going to dive into as soon as we get through. I say eating. I wanted to jump on it right now. It's a Freudian slip there. As soon as we get through with the show, we're going to jump in on that. They feed our sports talk crew every week, and we really do appreciate them for doing that. They'll do things from breakfast bowls to BLTs. We had fried bologna sandwiches one day, cheeseburgers, whatever we call him. Whenever we want a little break up from the breakfast stuff, he'll bring us whatever we want. I haven't asked him about ribeye steaks yet, so that might be a push.
Well,
we'll have to. Hey, you never know.
I guarantee they could go by the Piggly Wiggly and pick some up and cook them right up. They'd be
guarantee
delicious.
you, Billy could cook a good steak.
You're not kidding. Yeah. Yep.
All right, want to stay connected. If you want to stay connected with us on social media, you have YouTube platform. You can subscribe to our channel at WSME Radio. On Facebook, you can follow us at Freedom971 WSME. And, of course, listen online. You can stream live or catch up with podcasts at WSME971.com. And our studio line, you can call us anytime, 910-346-2248. If you have any burning questions for the sports talk crew as we get going. We want to dive right in, though. What's going on? You got something big coming up is it the Boys and Girls Club of Eastern North Carolina? Is that the title?
It's the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern North Carolina.
North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We were the Brigade Boys and Girls Club for the last 10 years, but we've had a presence in Onslow County for 25 or 30 years. But anyway, we are now the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern North Carolina, and we're in Onslow County, Duplin County, Pender County, New Hanover County, and Brunswick County.
Got them
all. And we're really, really growing with some fantastic leadership. So
who's running the show over there?
A very fine lady named Dawn Michelle Blaylock.
Okay.
And she came to us from the healthcare sector about 2 years ago, and has just really done a great job, and has developed a wonderful staff that's got great synergy, and we're led in Onslow County. Our county director is I'd say a young man, but he's a well-known fella in the sports realm named James Jordan, who was
I know James Webb.
Yeah,
went to high school with him.
Yeah, great basketball player.
Yeah, really good basketball coach.
Yes, and very influential in AAU ball and all. And he's been with our club for a long time, and now he is the county director, and he takes the place of a person that hopefully will join us some later this morning, named Keith Williams, who is our chief growth officer for the entire organization. And Keith started out as the county director, and really did a great job. And so he left the club in great hands, and James is continuing that and doing a good job.
Well, Keith has a lot that he does to help the community, and he's tied up on something this morning. He couldn't be here right on time, and I'm not saying he's late because he's out doing stuff. He's doing stuff for community, so he'll be here shortly, and we'll mix him in later and get him to talk about some of the things that he does. Now, what is your position with the Boys Club? And before we get into what they do, what is it that you actually do over there? You're on their chairman of their board, I guess.
Yeah, I raise money.
Raise money.
Yeah.
Hey, you sound like a booster president.
That's what I feel like my biggest impact is just raising money for those children. And I'm the county chairman of the advisory board, and I'm also a member of the corporate board. And it's been it has not so much evolved, but from the very beginning, it was a passion. It turned into a passion very quickly, and to have an outlet to help kids, and I feel real blessed by the Lord and honored to be a part of this organization. I tell you one thing that is so unique in what we do in the nonprofit sector is we have it documented, and it's official, that we about 81% of every dollar, every private dollar, or every dollar that's donated either through the private sector or through government grants and things of that nature that we do to support the club, 81% goes directly to programming, which is an exceptional
Yeah, that's not
figure.
a lot of overhead at all.
Yeah,
There.
so I mean, it's just your money hits the mark, and so that makes it a lot easier for someone like me that's a local boy fella. I'm going to be 64 years old next week, so I don't guess I'm a boy that much, but at heart I am. But anyway, it makes it easier for me to go to people like you and the business people all around and ask them to donate, because I feel very, very sure that that the money's going to hit the mark, and that makes it easier.
Well, what exactly are some of the things the Boys and Girls Club do for the kids of Southeastern North Carolina?
Well, we've got 9 locations in Onslow County.
Just in Onslow County?
Yes, and we have 1,100 or thereabouts enrolled in our programs throughout the year. Now, it does not mean that we serve 1,100 people a day or kids a day, but we have 9 locations, and we're in the school systems, and it's an after-school service that goes from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and we're also we're over at Sandy Run in the apartment facility, or the apartment complex over there, and they've got a very, very nice facility that we have a good program over there, and to paint it kind of with a broad brush, what we provide is love, really. And we have a staff that in Onslow County especially that has served these kids for many, many years. Several people on our staff have been with us for over 20 years, and it's a way to give a child the security and the continuity and all of that, to know that that they can develop a relationship and develop and be served through a mentorship that we provide, that gives them an accountability factor and all of these type things, that you've got an adult that is there helping you with your homework, holding you accountable, overseeing you while you're playing, and just teaching you a lot of citizenship skills that otherwise they may not be getting. And another thing, the demographic in Onslow County is so varietal that you're able to interact with kids from other states, through the Marine Corps and through the way our community is made up, that like it says in Proverbs, 27:17, iron sharpens iron, and so you've got a lot of really unbelievable nuances of benefits that turn a lot of, let's just say, some are underprivileged, some are very shy, some are very withdrawn, some are kind of affected by their home environments in some scenarios, and this gives them a place that they feel safe, that they feel loved, that they feel like they want to please the people that are looking out for them, and the staff, and it's just there's really, really, really no downside for a child and a parent that sees these benefits and wants the best for their kids. It's just a wonderful outlet for the parents that these kids benefit from.
And sadly, a lot of kids, not every kid has a home life to go to where they have that nurturing and that care that you guys are able to provide.
That's exactly right.
Same thing with food. The CHEW program
Yes,
is a
indeed.
great program, that they do here. I think it's the United Way, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
To where a lot of kids, I've never gone to the house and not have something to eat after school.
Yep.
But there's kids that don't, and there's so many programs out there. Do you guys work in partnership with some of these other programs like YMCA
Oh,
or
absolutely.
CHU and stuff
Yeah.
to kind of?
Yeah,
Now the after school programs, is that similar to the YMCA's programs, or do you guys work with them any, or is it just
Well, they have their
two
own
different organizations?
Well, it's two different organizations that are combined in a way of support for each other,
Right.
and certainly one place, the YMCA, the CHU program, the city recreation department, and
Yeah.
all these entities. The YMCA has just through the leadership of Billy Sewell and Steve Wangren and
Nicole Lovejoy
yeah,
and a
Dawn
lot of the ones that work
Rochelle
with her,
and she's at one place, Ann Raymond, people like that have just done a wonderful job with these kids throughout these organizations. Jacksonville is it's a unique community because there are so many different ways that we all work together spiritually in a way, because we all have just such a common goal, which is to help these kids. The YMCA is a Christian organization that helps not only children but adults and families, and it's for the betterment of the entire community. Whereas the Boys and Girls Clubs are specific to kids, of a certain age group, which is basically first grade through 8th grade, and we are striving right now to develop something that will include teenagers, and we have a couple
to
of
get 'em
programs
a little higher age level,
and give them something that they can enjoy and rely on throughout their undergraduate experiences and before they get to college. And it's a win-win in this community, and it's led by a lot of good-hearted people, no question.
and you're one on the kind of like, as Andy Griffin would say, you're on the fundraising soliciting committee for the underprivileged. That was what he did in Mayberry, and
Yeah.
So what, you guys got a big fundraiser coming up, don't you?
We sure do.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's the 10th annual Breakfast at the Kids Table, and it is going to, this year, as it has been for the past few years, it's going to be we're going to open the doors at 7:30 a.m. on August the 12th at Sturgeon City.
What day of the week is that?
That's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
And Golden Corral is going to is one of our major sponsors, and they're providing the food, the breakfast, and
That's good breakfast too.
yes, it is, and we're going to have 250 to 300 people there, and many sponsors have bought tables. We're having a lot of success, especially this year. We started 10 years ago, and we started in the fellowship hall of, at that time, Trinity United Methodist Church, and it has evolved from that meeting, which I think there was 119 people there, and we raised $39,000 at that breakfast
Wow.
10 years ago. And
I can only imagine what the numbers are now.
And now they're our goal this year is to break the $100,000 mark, but we've come
For that one fundraiser.
For that one fundraiser, and we've come close in several times in the last few years. But I feel like that this year it's going to be the over the top event, and as far as the $100,000 goal is concerned. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite anyone that would like to come. We're going to have a way, if you do come, to find you a seat, and we're going to have a few speakers, and it's going to be an event that we're going to make a real exciting announcement, kind of a milestone announcement that I don't want to announce now.
So no teasers.
We're just going to have a teaser
That's the
today.
teaser
That's
that
the
we're gonna
teaser.
have the announcement.
Yes, but
And that's August 12th.
and
that
that's going to be
breakfast.
the responsibility. That announcement is going to be the responsibility of our executive,
Yeah.
our CEO Dawn Michelle Blaylock, and like I say, they've put on. She and her staff have put on successive breakfasts in Pender, Brunswick, and now Onslow, and it's just they do these breakfasts in succession, and you talk about a busy time
Oh, yeah.
for that staff. And so now it's about to be our turn, and we're going to have a couple of weeks to really hit social media and hit the airwaves. And thank you so very much for having us here today, so that we can talk about the Boys and Girls Club.
And that's why we wanted to do it today. We had first talked about August 8th, next Friday, but that gives only, the weekend and Monday
Right.
to kind of get people prepped out. And, we figured we want to let them know a little bit more ahead of time. So this gives, 11 days or so
Absolutely.
before it happens. So I've been before, and I think the time I went, it was over at the old church on Gum Branch, the old River
Yeah,
of Life,
River of Life.
where the YMCA is going now.
Right.
So I remember great crowd, great program. The kids were involved in it. It was something that kind of melts your heart to realize, what you're doing and what it's helping. Now, funds that are raised, what are some of the things that they would go for? We talked about some of the programs. Actually, let's hold on to that and we'll get to it. When we come back on Sports Talk, we'll have our racing report, and then after that, we'll jump right back in with more of the Boys and Girls Club.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talker. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Our guest today is Bill Mercer from Bartley Insurance Services. Thank you, Bill, for being with us today.
Thank you for
Talking a
having me.
lot of stuff about the kids of Onslow County. We're going to get more into that here in just a minute, but the music that led us in tells us it's time for our racing report. NASCAR boys went the last 2 weeks. They've been back on the real tracks. Dover the week before, and this past week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You talk about an iconic racetrack, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That and Daytona are probably the two biggest ones that people think of when they think of racing. Daytona and Indy. And if you're from the Southeast, it's probably Daytona first. If you're from anywhere else, it's probably Indianapolis first. But those two speedways, and then, of course, they raced at Dover the week before. The Daytona race is coming up. No longer the 4th of July weekend race. That was a road course this year, which was really freaky for true NASCAR fans. But the Daytona race has been moved to the fall to coincide with their playoffs that they do. And this past week at Indy, there was a very interesting occurrence. NASCAR's had a little feud going with Bubba Wallace, and Bubba Wallace has been having a little feud going with NASCAR, thinking he's underappreciated and that things were, maybe he wasn't, getting treated the way he needed to be treated. So there was rumors of a lawsuit, and then all of a sudden he wins. So that'll fuel conspiracy theorists that, hey, maybe they gave him a little bit bigger tweak on the motor or something to help him win to kind of placate him, I guess. But Bubba Wallace did win in a Toyota at Indy. Indianapolis is just one of those tracks. If you ever had to go to a car race, have you ever been to one of the big tracks before to see a race?
I have. I've been to Rockingham.
So you've seen NASCAR races?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw Bobby Allison's last race.
Oh, you're talking about a good time in NASCAR history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back when
Not Bobby Davey.
Davey Allison.
The last race.
Right before he went
right
and
before
died
he lost
in the helicopter crash. Okay.
Exactly
Wow.
right.
That's tough. So I guess you've been to a few over the years.
Been to one.
Just that one. Wow.
Yeah, and at that one,
you talk about one to go to.
Yeah,
that was one.
That was fun, and ended up in the Winston booth.
Really?
Yeah, and I was in high cotton up there.
And that was your one race, and you never went back.
Exactly right.
Just didn't grab you.
Well, it did.
Because when you're up in the Winston booth and getting that kind of treatment, most times most people would be going back for that.
I was with my father-in-law at the time, and he was in the convenience store business, and they saw us down there and got him to come up. And
he's not Mr. Bucky, is he?
No.
Okay.
No,
I was starting to say
no.
he sounds like he's not the Scotsman or something like that. Because if they pick him out of the crowd, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was very very visible person, Stanley McCauley, and and at any rate they saw us and they came up there. So
well, that's cool. You got the royal treatment on your first ride there.
That was wild.
Now Rockingham is a track that's on the rebound now. It had kind of been, put out to pasture a lot like North Wilkesboro. Earnhardt Jr., some of the others have decided to get these old tracks back involved because they were losing fans from the old NASCAR days and probably had lost a lot of them already. Some of these tracks like California and Kansas City that aren't real, steeped in NASCAR roots, instead of giving them 2 races, they're cutting them back to maybe 1.
Right.
And then giving Rockingham a race, hopefully coming up in the next couple of years. They did have a truck race and the Busch Series race there this past year. But we're hoping they'll get another actual points race there. And then, of course, North Wilkesboro, they brought it back from the dead, man. I don't know if you've ever been up to Boone and passed by it on the right.
I have.
Right there, before you get North Wilkesboro. You could look at it a few years back, and trees were
in the
growing
air,
up. It looked like Dodge City, like tumbleweeds rolling through. And
that's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, it's awesome. Now, have you had the chance to see it since they've revitalized it?
I've seen it. Yes.
From the road, yeah.
From the road.
You can tell they've totally opened it up.
Yeah,
They've made it where you can see it more. You get off there, and they've got a lot more parking and added, some of the boxes and things like that you got to have in sports nowadays. You can't just put people out there sitting in the bleachers. You got to have the boxes and the things that draw the big wigs.
Right.
The thing like you said there at Rockingham. But back to Indianapolis, Bubba Wallace won that race. I would love to go to Indy one time to see a race.
Me too.
A lot of people, would probably rather go see the Indy 500. I believe I'd rather go see the NASCAR guys there just because of the way I was raised in this area. But either way, just to go to that track and see it would be awesome.
Track.
So Bubba Wallace won in a Toyota. You were talking about your favorite part of a race is usually about the last 10 laps or so. Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me. That's when things get kind of dicey. Well, they had to do a little overtime in this race. They have a rule where if you haven't taken the white flag yet, which is ironic, because that's one of the things that Bubba was contending about. But the if you haven't taken the white flag yet, then it goes to another green-white checker, they call it. So you have another 2 laps. It's kind of a little odd thing they have. They try to make it finish under speed and not under caution. So they had a caution at the end and extended it a little bit. Bubba Wallace took the white flag and then took the checker flag to win in a Toyota. Second place was Kyle Larson in a Chevrolet. Denny Hamlin in a Toyota. That does seem odd to say Toyota in NASCAR, don't it?
It does.
It's just weird. And not to be saying Dodge. And I would love for Mopar to get back in NASCAR because I think that's a big part of it. One of the big 3 car makers, obviously, here in America.
There ought to be a book that they put out. You could probably write it. That would be called NASCAR for Dummies, just like they have.
What are you saying?
Everything.
I'm kidding.
No, what I'm saying, I'm talking of. This is self-deprecating.
Oh, it doesn't take much
and I know
to get
there's
into it.
Whoever's riding around right now and that are big NASCAR fans and hear Bill Mercer saying something like that, I've admitted that I don't know.
There's not that much about it.
But how the when you pit and you can lose position and just all the ins and outs of the rules that are hard to it's just like trying to explain the rules of golf to somebody that doesn't know how to play golf. There's a whole lot more to it than just hitting the ball and watching it on TV and not knowing. And the same thing with people like me watching racing. It's exciting, but there's a whole lot more I could enjoy if I knew more about what was going on.
True. Same thing with ice hockey.
Yeah,
a lot of people
definitely.
can't get into hockey because they don't understand a couple of rules.
Yeah.
And soccer, in some ways, people don't understand the offsides rule, and the big one in hockey is icing and offsides.
Right.
Once you understand kind of the general concept, though, the main thing is you got to get that puck, the biscuit in the basket.
Yeah.
You get it in there, and more times than the other team, you win. But racing, it's funny because it's kind of a little more room for interpretation. Their rules one week will get interpreted one way. And then the next week, I don't know. I hope it doesn't depend on who the sponsor is, and if it's a big time team.
Well, see, that's a nuance I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
There's
about.
There's things that even people that follow sport, they are scratching their head because they don't understand how they interpret it. That way.
If you don't know the ruls, you don't know when they're being bent or broken or the gray area
or being fudged just a little,
exactly
maybe
right.
for effect and for TV.
Yeah.
Finishing up the top 10 here, Ryan Preece in a Ford finished 4th. Brad Keselowski, a good run in a Ford, finished 5th. Todd Gillen in a Ford, and Ryan Blaney in a Ford. So Ford had a really good. They didn't finish win the race, but finished several cars in there in the top 10. And I would just love to see it get back kind of to some of the roots of NASCAR. Now, when you went to the race, the year you're telling me you went, you could look at a car and tell that it was a Thunderbird.
Oh yeah,
or Monte Carlo.
Oh, I was a fan of the marquee drivers, just like I was a big fan. I'm a big boxing fan, but I don't know.
Oh, it's way different now, isn't it?
But back then, I knew who the top 2 or 3 boxers in each division were, and it's same with racing, and the same with wrestling when I was growing up with wrestling with Dory Funk Jr. and Jack Briscoe and that crowd and Dusty Rhodes and it's the same with NASCAR with absolutely starting with Richard Petty for me and then Dale Earnhardt, and he came along after Richard, and then you got the Allison brothers and you got Cale Yarborough and you got David Pearson. And it started with what's my man's name from the mountains that was running moonshine?
Oh, Junior Johnson.
Junior Johnson, absolutely, yeah.
And that's the thing.
And racing Daytona on the sand,
yeah.
And all that. So I mean,
half was on asphalt and half was on the sand.
Right, yeah.
It was crazy.
The historical aspect, I know a little bit, but
do you know about Onslow County's historical track?
Well, I know about 258. I know about Troy Humphrey's place.
Oh yeah, that's the one now. But I'm talking about the one
Camp Davis.
No, out there at off Rocky Run Road, Old 30. I think it's Old 30 Road. It's Old 30 on the left through the pine trees. You can still see the banking, and I'll show you on the commercial something wild. I'll show you the GPS of it, and you can still see the outline of the track.
How about that
on GPS now?
Didn't even know about it.
Richard Petty won a race, one of his 200 wins. Back in probably, I would have to say the 60s or 70s out there, because NASCAR later on got to that different thing where it was a fixed, 30 or 40 races a year. But
I
back
guarantee
in the day,
it wasn't in the 70s. I'd have known about it.
it probably the 60s then.
Yeah.
But back in the late 60s, early 70s, they were racing probably, a couple times a week. They'd race a weekend
there.
race, and then they go somewhere during the week. When you think about Richard Petty having 200 wins, and the next one down the list is right near 100 or under 100, you're like, why is such a difference? Well, that's why. Because when he was first racing, there was more opportunities to win.
Right.
So it's something that probably it'll never be broken because you're not gonna have that many opportunities unless you're winning half the races every year and race for 20 years.
Well, he was a
so that's why he's the king of NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's
Randleman, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, and if you ever get a chance up there, it's either Randleman, Level Cross, one of those little areas. It's the same general area. The Richard Petty Museum. It's worth a look.
I'd be very interested.
Cars in there. The car he wrecked at Daytona that he almost got killed in. When they put it on the floor there, the dirt fell out. Daytona dirt's still underneath it on the floor. They just left it like it is, So it's right fresh off the hauler where they brought it back from Daytona when he, barrel rolled down the straightaway there. So yeah, NASCAR is it's got a deep tradition in the Southeast. They kind of got away from that. You were asking for some of the explanations on it. With the movie Days of Thunder and some of the things that kind of made NASCAR more fashionable to a different crowd.
Great movie.
They went away from beer and chicken and went to wine and cheese for a while.
Yeah.
Well, wine and cheese after about 5 or 6 years says, well, they just turned left and we're done with it.
Yeah.
Well, then they had already outpriced beer and chicken crowd, so they're working to get that back, and that's a good thing for NASCAR.
I love that scene. Now, I may be talking wine and cheese, but I love the scene from Days of Thunder. I know it was all kind of glitzy and all that, but the scene when Robert Duvall is talking to Tom Cruise, and he had already been in the wreck, and so you got a pileup that he can drive through, but it's smoke.
Yeah, just tell him to trust you.
And he tells him, and then Duvall gets right quiet and says, he says, just take. To paraphrase, he said, "Just take that route."
Take that route, and
he said,
you can make it.
I feel it in my heart. And he did it. That was a cool scene.
Yeah. And he's one of my favorite actors for stuff like that. Yeah. That's our air raid siren. There's no tsunami or anything, nothing going on. Okay, we just got to take a break. And want to thank Onslow County Motor Company for sponsoring our racing report. Ben Beasley and the gang. Make sure you check. Oh, they'll say they got some good cars down there, too.
Yes, sir.
He always has a good selection. But we'll be right back with Sports Talk. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Want to head right into our Ospreys report. This will be our last Ospreys report this year. The Ospreys are went to the playoffs for the first time this year. So proud of them. Downey's Heat and Air, thank you so much, Jason Humphrey and the gang, for sponsoring our Osprey report. It's just a great environment out there. The problem that this year they ran into was weather. A lot of rainouts. There were some Saturdays where, man, you could have kayaked easier than you could have played baseball out there.
Wow.
You know how an infield does. The dirt sits lower than the grass, and it just looks like a lake.
Yeah.
And it just had those thunderstorms right at game time. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
What does it say? Everybody complains about the weather, but nobody does anything about it. There's only one person or one man that can control the weather, one being that can control the weather, and it ain't us. So, and then they had a lot of heat this past weekend. Had the playoffs and everything. First round, it was hot, man. But there was that nice little breeze that always blows from the outfield. The Ospreys, their first ever playoff game, 4-2 win over the Charlotte Scalawags. Their first ever playoff game, and they get a win.
Fantastic.
They had struggled a little at the end of the season, like a lot of the teams in the league were doing. Had a lot of players that towards the end of the season, these are college players that stay with host families and are here for the summer just to play in this college bat league or college wood bat league. And a lot of them towards the end of the summer, they realize, hey, I'm getting ready to go back to school. And as soon as I get back to school, my coach at my college, we're going to start drills, and I'd love to have a couple of weeks to just veg. And so a lot of them kind of get a little iffy at the end, the ones that aren't as into it. So they lost some players. Other teams did too, so that's no excuse. But kind of struggled a little lost like 8 of the last 9 games regular season. We're cruising, man, up 4 games for first place, and then that kind of put them in second place. They did get a first round bye, and then won their second round game 4-2 over Charlotte. Went into the next game. Were maintaining right along there with the Oak Island Loggerheads, and then just kind of ran out of gas a little bit. Just a long season, that hot summer stuff.
Sir.
Oak Island ended up winning 9-5, so they advanced to the Eastern Finals, which the Southeastern region, the coastal region, played the Tidewater region, which, man, there's a team up there called the Tarboro River Bandits. That team is pretty good. They took care of business when they played Oak Island and beat them in 2 games. So they're advancing to the Old North State League state championship, basically. You have 4 divisions across the state, and they all meeting now. Tarboro will meet whoever the Western champion is. I don't think that's been decided yet for the actual Old North State League championship. So there's 32 teams across the state in that league. A great wood bat league. There's other leagues around, but that's the one that the Ospreys are in, and they'll be back next year. Ellie Patino, the owner's already said, yeah, man, we're looking forward to it. Everything will keep changing. And every year they make the experience out there just a little better. They finally got a new scoreboard, got it put up for the last couple of games, and it's awesome. It's the kind like they have at Richlands with the actual innings separated.
Yeah.
So, a lot of good things, good changes they made. Flagpole, that's one thing I'm really going to push community leaders like you and, the council members, the city council, the commissioners. We need a stationary flagpole out there. The only thing they have, nobody had put one up, from the rec department or something or the city, and so we're using one off the side of the press box. This is a military town. You got to have a standing flagpole.
That's something that right in plain sight nobody has seen.
Well,
and you're pointing that out, and that is fantastic.
And then a couple of games, it's no shade on any of the ones with the Ospreys, but they get so tied up getting pregame stuff. One game there was no flag out, and you're doing the anthem with no flag. That just is odd to me.
Yeah, it is.
Especially in a military town, and we want to pay the most respect to the flag we can. So the American Legion has stepped up. They paid the money, and next year they will have a stationary flagpole done. So thank you to the American
fantastic.
Legion.
Well,
They've already wrote the check to the city and the city of Jacksonville. We'll have it up. That with the new scoreboard, the other amenities they're going to add, the stands and things like that, and it's going to be an even better experience next year.
Isn't that just so solidly perfect?
Yeah.
That the American Legion is the one that's donating the
those
flag.
the Woodmen of the World. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the flagpoles you see are donated by those 2 organizations.
Very patriotic.
So that's our Ospreys report. Thank you again to Downey's Heat and Air, Jason Humphrey and his crew for sponsoring that for us. And I think we're ready for our break, aren't we? All right, we'll take our last break and we'll be right back with Bill Mercer on Sports Talk. Hey, welcome back. Friday, August the 1st. I would say the first day of football practice, but it's not. It's the third day. Pray for them kids. One more hot day, and then they get a little break. They actually be looking forward to Saturday practice this year because of the cooler temperatures. We're going to jump into this day in sports. We have Bill Mercer with us. You have a little something you want to say, Bill?
Well, yeah. I was going to, what I was going to say, and you didn't know what I was going to say, but I just want to say this on behalf of the community. You two guys, I know this started with Coach Padgett, and I did this show a couple of times. In fact, I was honored to interview him, and it was a great that was a great segment. But Chris, you remind me a lot. Stepping in those shoes, you remind me a lot of my Sunday school teacher, Joe Henderson, who owns Atlantic Construction.
Does he have a face for radio too?
He's just like you. He's got a good looking face, but anyway, every week I listen to you. I listen to you this show, very a lot religiously in a sense, but every week he's prepared, and he comes with a great lesson every week, and it's obvious that he digs into it and spends enough time that he does it the service that it deserves. And you do the same thing, both of you. And I know you got a long, great career in radio Hollywood, but
it's the glue that keeps me hinged together.
But every week, you're such a wealth of information, and it's just so obvious how interested you are in this community.
Oh, I love sports and love the community.
Yeah, and that comes through, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Well, I was told when I retired, if you do a secondary job when you retire, do something you like to do.
It's obvious you like this.
I love sports. I've always loved sports. Yeah. So this is just a natural thing. And I've always said when it comes to knowledge of sports, I'm full of it. Yeah, that's the way I leave it.
And he retired and has about 4 jobs.
Yeah, no. Exactly. And if I don't know the history and the sports of it, I'll just make it up until somebody calls me.
That's exactly right.
Usually Chris Miller will call me and say, no, that weren't the case. He's my fact checker. Right. But anyway, we do the best we can with it. We're going to jump into this, and thank you for those kind words.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice.
We're going to jump into this day in sports history. All this stuff happened on August 1st. Some of it a long time ago. It makes me feel really young to read some of these. Back in 1918, a true test of endurance, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Boston Braves battled through 20 scoreless innings before the Bucks finally break through in the 21st, winning 2-0. Still a Major League Baseball record. 20 scoreless innings, and that's what I love about that. That's one of the knocks I have on soccer. To battle and battle and battle, and it could still end in a 0 tie.
That is amazing.
You got to have some way of breaking the tie.
Yeah.
And I know, penalty shots, some of them are considered that magoo, but just have something where somebody can walk off the field, on top.
Yeah.
All right, Hollywood.
1928, the Sultan of SWAT. What does that mean?
Sultan of SWAT, the Bambino, Babe Ruth. Yeah,
Sultan of SWAT.
Not the Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits, but Sultan of SWAT.
Right. Is on a tear. Babe Ruth blast home run 42, leading the Yankees to a 12-1 win over the St. Louis Browns. 4 weeks ahead of his legendary 1927 pace.
So
That's amazing,
he was on
right?
pace to break the record at that time, and he may have that year. I don't know. 1928 was a little out of my wheelhouse, but that's the thing. When we grew up, we knew who Babe Ruth was. Yeah. We knew who Ty Cobb was. Mm-hmm. We didn't see him play, but I think a lot of the current players now don't know that history. Yeah. They just know more of the modern players.
That team had John McGraw as the manager, and it had the famous Murderers Row.
Oh yeah,
with Lou Gehrig.
Yep.
Lou Gehrig batting. He batted 5th, and
with that team. Yeah.
And but Gehrig and Ruth were much like Mays and Mantle. I mean, not Mays, but Maris and Mantle.
Yeah.
And as far as the Yankees have such a unbelievable, storied history.
I mean, can you imagine being there, seeing these guys? Man,
no.
I'm glad I weren't, because I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. In 1957, Glenn Gorbus, former Major League outfielder, sets a world record throw of 445 feet and 10 inches with a regulation baseball. And yes, it was during a game promo.
They had to have him outside the stadium, because there's no stadium that's 458 feet from to the wall. But so he had to be throwing from outside.
What does it remind you of? It reminds me I know I shouldn't ask questions you don't know.
I'll give it.
He'll make it up.
Kinda like
if
a
I don't
lawyer.
know it, I'll make it up.
He'll make it up.
But the throw that Bo Jackson
I remember that throw,
makes
yeah.
from
Gunned him out at third base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he gunned him
No,
out
it's
at home.
yeah.
and McReynolds.
Yeah.
and who was fast as lightning.
And he didn't even try to slide because he thought there was no way.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's tagged out.
Absolutely.
I remember that play.
Yeah.
Bo was
Bo
he
was-
wasn't just a running back and speed and hitting. He everything. He was the total package.
I'm gonna tell you what. For my money, Bo Jackson's the greatest athlete that's ever been in the United States.
I would say there's
my
a
money.
top 5 that he's undisputable in that top 5.
Yeah.
A lot of people, from earlier times say Jim Thorpe because of Jim Brown,
Yeah.
just because of the different things they did.
Lacrosse at
Yeah.
Syracuse
Yep.
and all that. But Jackson, good Lord.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, in 1963, history was made as Arthur Ashe became the first African-American named to the U.S. Davis Cup tennis team. He was a pretty good tennis player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Amazing.
an awesome tennis player. And now he has that Arthur Ashe Courage Award they give out every year for, something that's a little above and beyond in sports.
All right, 1971, the King, Richard Petty, takes the Dixie 500 in Atlanta and becomes the first NASCAR driver to top $1 million in career or earnings.
I don't think we can say Dixie anymore, Kim.
Oh, come on.
Sure we
Dixie,
can.
Dixie.
Get out of here.
I called. Have you ever heard of the Dixie Classic
Yeah.
fair that they had in Winston-Salem every year?
Yeah.
Well, they changed it to the Carolina Classic back during all that time when people got crazy. The Dixie Chicks became the Chicks. Lady Antebellum become Lady A. I still don't know what. Anyway,
And the
don't
Dixie
get me
Classic
started.
that evolved into the Big Four Classic that was
Right.
played under Everett Case.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Basketball, yeah.
basketball,
Years ago.
which was the Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest, and North Carolina State.
Do you remember when we had Tommy Maddox on the show? Did it from his home in Kinston, and he of course played during that time when
Yes.
they had the Dixie Classic
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Richard Petty is still the king in stock car racing. Dale Earnhardt is kind of like the argument you have.
You're
between-
gonna make a lot of people mad there.
Well, it's kind of like the argument, and that's why I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. It's kind of like the argument you have between Nicklaus and Tiger Woods.
Mm-hmm.
For a period of time, Tiger Woods was more dominant, but for the long haul, Nicklaus. Same thing.
I'm in agreement.
Now, I'm not going to tell you that if Richard Petty and in their prime and Dale Earnhardt were coming down to the finish, that Earnhardt wouldn't root him out and win the race. But it's just a different style.
Well, that's
you
a
know
great
what I mean?
qualifier for over the long term and everything that's involved in the game of golf.
Right.
I think
it rolling.
Tiger has done wonderful, wonderful things in philanthropy and all of that. But over the long haul, people like Nicholas Palmer, so many of them Ernie Els have contributed so very much outside the
Ambassadors
game,
for the game,
outside the game because of the game. Michael Jordan, same way in basketball.
You're right about that. And Richard Petty was always there for the fans. I remember I saw him at Talladega, and he took time out to talk to us a minute. And he had a busy schedule. He was the owner then, and he said, "Look, boys, I got good to go."
What-
But for a few minutes, he talked to us.
Wouldn't you say that Richard Petty, as the iconic status that he is really a lesson in humility?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
His famous saying was, the easiest thing in the world to do is be nice to people."
Yeah, I agree.
And he knew what the fans were. You did that one, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the next one, Bill, 1973.
In 1973, a blockbuster ABA trade, Julius Dr. J. Irving is dealt from the Virginia Squires to the New York Nets for George Carter and cash. The league would never be the same.
Yeah, shortly after
George
that, he went
Carter.
on to the NBA.
Oh,
yeah.
what a name from the past that I have never heard of.
Yeah, but Dr. J for George Carter.
How
is
about
like,
that?
Yeah, that's
Isn't that something?
That's like Babe Ruth for
Brilliant business move.
whoever they traded him for. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hey.
All right, moving on to 1978, the Atlanta Braves end Pete Rose's National League record 44-game hitting streak, beating the Reds 16-4. And if I know Pete Rose, he was just as mad as fire.
Yes, sir.
About it, because buddy, that was the heart of a competitor right there.
Never forget it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget him. That I was in Orlando, Florida, and I couldn't believe that he
When
had,
that streak broke.
Yeah. Mhm.
1982, American diver Greg Louganis stuns the world by scoring a record 752.67 points in 11 dives, taking gold at the World Championships in Ecuador. Wow.
I'll be honest, I knew nothing about what that point total means, but I know that Joker could do it now. You
Iconic.
talking about spinning and getting and nailing the going through the water with no splash and just I know I'm saying people that really know about diving are like you don't know what you're talking about. I don't, but I just know that watching him was like it was a different level.
I thought you were a diver back in the day.
Yeah, belly flopper. So who had that one?
Me. It's,
Okay.
yes.
Iron Mike Tyson unifies the heavyweight division by outpointing Tony Tucker over 12 rounds in Vegas, becoming the first man to hold all three major belts, WBA, WBC, and the IBF.
I would love to get Mike on the show.
Gosh.
That would be an entertaining interview right there,
Oh, yeah.
as long as he didn't bite my ear or anything like that. But we have had, shoot, what's his name? Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher Smith James
yeah.
Bone Crusher Smith. He's called in the show before, and we got to get to Myrtle Beach someday and do that live.
We'll do
interview.
it one day. We'll do it one day. Yeah.
All right. So I'm next. 1992, at 32 years old, Linford Christie becomes the oldest man to win Olympic gold in the 100-meter dash at 32.
It's crazy, right?
Dang. Edging out Frankie Fredericks in Barcelona.
You know what's funny is different sports, different ages, considered old and young, and
32 is ancient in
Yeah.
sprinting.
So
Yeah.
great day.
Yeah. 1994, Cal Ripken Jr. plays his 2000th consecutive game, joining Lou Gehrig in the record books as the Orioles edge the Twins 1-0.
And he went on to do several more.
Yeah, and he played shortstop.
Still holds that record and probably will never be broken.
Right,
Not
and
nowadays.
Gary played first base. There's a big difference in
You're
the,
right
in the
about that.
mobility and all that, the injury prone and everything. That's an amazing record.
And to have that Ironman record nowadays, guys take off just to have a day of rest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think if I'd have been a pro ball player, I'd have gone for that because I was always so scared of being taken out of any game I was
Yeah,
ever
you don't
in
wanna miss
because
a
I was
day.
scared I wasn't going to ever be put back in.
I think you got the next one, Bill. Or was that?
Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
do 94? No, you did 94.
I did 94,
All right, you
yeah.
got next
All
one.
right, Dan O'Brien captures Olympic gold in the decathlon in Atlanta, the first American to do it since Bruce Jenner in 1976. I feel like right now I feel sort of like Johnny Carson setting up a guest as I'm the straight man.
Ba-doom. I ain't touching that.
Yeah. Moving on.
In 2002, the Baltimore Ravens lock in linebacker Ray Lewis with a 5-year extension and a then record $19 million signing bonus. That's the then record, so I'm sure it's been higher, but $19 million
That's a
just
lot.
for signing that's for signing the contract.
That's a lot of money.
That don't even tell you what his contract was. It's probably around $100 million.
Great day in the morning.
And last one here. In 2010, Ozzie Stewart Appleby shoots a mind-blowing 11 under 59. Yeah, 11 under 59 to win the Greenbrier Classic, becoming the first non-American to break 60 on the PGA Tour.
59. Now, we were talking before about, of course, Ricky Morton and Rock Creek is one of our big sponsors. Do you know what Ricky's record is on the course? Have you ever heard before?
I think the course record's 62.
I was thinking it was low 60s, yeah.
It may be 61.
That's smoking at Rock Creek.
He shot 65 not too long ago from the tips
Now
at Rock Creek.
You were telling me he just competed in the senior PGA thing down at, South Carolina?
Yeah, and he was the top pro. He finished with the top pro money and was defeated, a great amateur came up in the last 9 holes and overcame him.
Some
to
young
win the-
whippersnapper,
Yeah,
probably.
well, I mean, Ricky's 64 years old, just
Yeah.
like me, and just all in all, just take all that into consideration. It's an incredible feat for him to be doing as well as he does in these tournaments. I mean, he's always after the lead, and when I'll never forget hearing one of his pro friends, people like Neil Lancaster and folks like that. Neil played on the tour for a long time, a guy from Smithfield, but said that they would all see Morton drive up in the parking lot for these various tournaments, and they'd be like, "Yeah, exactly." Yeah. He's
You played with him before. You seen him play? He can stroke it, buddy.
Yeah, I play with him right much, and
That awesome swing.
Yeah, he's. I get to play. I mean, really, literally, I mean that. I get to play with him.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to play with him is it's a lot more fun even than I stink when I normally stink it up when I play. But watching him play is just. I mean, you're watching a professional golfer,
Yeah.
and it's really, really something to see.
Do you know Benny Phillips?
Yeah.
Yeah, Benny played with him one day out there, and Benny got wind, and I'm telling a story of Benny, you probably don't want me to tell, but he got wind there playing for $20 a hole. And, of course, it was handicapped, but you're playing with a PGA pro.
Yeah.
And he said, man, that is the tightest I've ever been on a golf course. But he said it made him play so much better than he ever has.
Yep.
Your concentration is is at a zenith. You know what I mean? It's just a whole different game.
It really is. I
It's
mean,
like when you
put a
play
little something
through on
on
a
it.
hole.
Yeah.
You know, you're up at a different level because you're playing in front of people instead of your normal group.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've talked about this before, but Ricky Morton is definitely more than deserving to be in the Jacksonville Alonzo Sports Commission Hall of Fame, and we're gonna make a real big push for that this year. Anybody that's out there that has a voting interest or knows people that can vote, mention that to them, because I think a lot of times what's happened is there's so many names on the ballot now. There's so many. I don't know if you've ever seen the ones that are eligible.
I have.
But it's a daunting thing to go through there and pick one.
Right.
And sometimes I think it gets caught up in picking certain sports or certain things that might not be represented as well. But to my knowledge, there's no golfer in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that there's probably 500 golfers in Onslow County over the last 50 years. Jacksonville Country Club started in 1954. Rock Creek started in 1974. And so in that period of time, 50, 60, 70 years, I'm gonna promise you from the people that are still in this county, from that era, and still living, in their 80s and 70s and 80s now, that you will find nobody that could argue the point that Ricky Morton is the best golfer that has ever played golf in Onslow County. There's no doubt. There's been an array of great amateur golfers that have won the club championships, that have won the county championships. Jeff Allen has won it about 5 or 6 times, and he is a wonderful golfer. He's a golfer. Johnny Crumpler. People like that were great, great, great golfers. But Ricky's the best golfer that's ever played in this county, and I'll argue that point. There's nobody that could argue. There's nobody that could argue that, and get the consensus of all the people that have seen all the array of golfers that have come through this county in the last,
To have played in the PGA and the PGA
right.
Championship and things like that over the years, and
he won
a bunch of the lower
at the age of 59.
not lower, but the next level tournaments. Yeah,
He won
a senior PGA
well,
event.
he's won the senior PGA events. Not the senior, the big.
Not the PGA.
Yeah, but he won a regular event that was college kids on up. He won that when he was 59 years old.
Wow.
And it was a
To be able to hit with them young backs,
sanctioned,
that's something.
pro tournament.
Well, before we go, we do want to hit up again on the Boys and Girls Club. We got a phone number for them now, right?
Yes.
And first of all, tell them again the date. It's August 12th.
August
on a
12th,
Tuesday.
2025 at 7:30 a.m. at Sturgeon City, which is located at 50 Court Street. You get on Court Street and drive towards the river and look over to the left and see all the cars.
If you're driving the river, you've gone too far.
You've gone too far.
Take a left
Yes,
before you get
that's
to the end of the river.
Really great point.
Yeah.
And at any rate, you can go, but I do want to state one thing. If you go, you will be expected to donate. So do not go for a free biscuit. Go for and get get the whole meal, which will include being absolutely inspired. It's a fun, information-filled, inspired speeches, and you get to be around our kids, and the entire community comes together, and it's a uplifting event that is nothing but positive, and we could not do it without the support of this wonderful community. And on behalf of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern North Carolina, specifically in Onslow County, we just thank you so very much for your support.
Well, give me that phone number, too, because I want to make sure we mention it again next week. 910.
455-9003. And you could also go to, a lot of people are driving right now or whatever, but it's the website is bgcsenc.org/BAKTO10.
And I guarantee you could probably Google Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern North Carolina, and it would pop up too.
Yeah.
That website.
It will.
That'll give you a link to, go to it also. But that number, once again, 910-455-9003 to kind of set things up and get prepared for that. Or if you just want to make a donation.
Yeah,
because you won't
come
find
show
a
up.
great organization.
We'll find you a seat, and we'll give you an envelope, put some to put some love in.
Put some love in for them
Yes,
kids.
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Bill, we do appreciate you being with us today. I
appreciate
and
what
thank
you
you.
do.
I know it's a passion of yours, and we thank you for your work for those great kids and for the effort you put into that.
Yeah, well, we've got an announcement that's going to be mind-blowing and
Mind-blowing.
mind-blowing.
And you're doing it at the Tuesday
and,
thing.
yes, sir. And,
Okay.
you know, I read an old proverb here lately, and we're planting trees under whose shade we shall never sit, and that's what we're doing.
Wow.
You know,
that's pretty deep. For
yeah,
sports talk right there.
that's pretty deep for
Yeah,
Richlands, isn't it?
that
But
is.
I'm telling you, it's the truth.
Well, Richlands and Southwest are on the same side of the county. We call it South
Yeah,
Side.
it's God's garden
Yeah,
spot.
still South. I'm from no law enforcement days. It was South Side and East Side, and that's deep for our side of the
Yeah,
county,
thank-
man.
thank- yes,
I like
sir.
it.
Well, thanks.
We
Thanks,
do
Bill.
want to thank our sponsors before we go. Once again, thank you, Bill Mercer, for being with us today. Of course, I'm gonna lead off with you as one of our sponsors, Barley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer. If your insurance needs, come see Bill.
Please.
He'll get you the right needs for what you need for your insurance needs. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, Lane Associates Family Dentistry, Doctors Tommy and Kim Morgan, Barnes Diamond Gallery, Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley, Fountain Management, Sandra Fountain, Southern Touch Painting, that's Roger Carroll and his crew, Jones LP Gas located there in Verona. Don't forget every Friday's $11 to fill that normal size grill cylinder. That's a deal right there. That's
It
$20
is.
or more most places. Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Rock Creek Golf and Country Club, of course, Rick Morton, the club pro out there, and PGA professional that deserves to be in the Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission Hall of Fame. Golden Corral, Mr. Billy Sewell, of course, he does so much for the community doing for this event here that we're talking about. CNS Paint, Ron Choate and Victor Case. Jacksonville Ospreys, thank you to the Ospreys for what they did for this community, bringing them together for baseball and for having a great season. It says a lot that out of the 32 teams in the Old North State League, that in their second year, they hosted the All-Star game. That shows
That's
that
amazing.
the kind of atmosphere they have
fantastic.
out there.
Really.
National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, thank you also. And our Racing Report powered by Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley in the gang. And, of course, our Osprey Report powered by Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning, Jason Humphrey. Once again, our thoughts and prayers with the Humphrey family as their matriarch, passed away this past week. And, healing for them. And we hope that, everything is going well with them. And, of course, special thanks to Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grisset. I love to end with the food part because that's what we're getting ready to dive into. They feed our Sports Talk crew. And that's a wrap for Sports Talk. We will see you. We got football coming up, so we'll have some football guests in the next couple of weeks. And we'll see you next Friday on Sports Talk.